Thanks so much for joining us here on Timeless 106.1 KFFB's Open Mic program as we continue our coverage of the coronavirus and throughout Arkansas and the nation. And we do have Senator Boozman with us right now. And Senator, thanks so much for taking time and talking with us again this week.
No, Bob, thank you so much as always for having me. We appreciate the great job you're doing in getting timely information out.
Well, I know that we here at Arkansas, at least I fell off my chair Saturday. This past Saturday, we got to hear the president say this about you.
Senator Boozman, you know Senator Boozman, we all do. He's a great senator. He's a great person. We spoke just this morning and we discussed how important it is to keep our farmers and ranchers, processors, and distributors in our nation's prayers. And I want to thank the senator for the incredible job he's been doing.
Man, that is so amazing when you get to hear the president talk about your favorite senator. Now, Senator Boozman, that one is, you got to tell us all the story, how this all happened.
Well, I'm just glad he was saying nice things about me versus the other. No, what happened, Bob, was I've been communicating with a number of different entities, and one of the things that was standing out was we've got all of these people that are working so very hard with our food situation, our food distribution, all of that involves so many different things. Many of them are working shoulder to shoulder in our packing plants, in our poultry plants, don't have a lot of protective gear. We're working hard to do something about that, but putting themselves at great risk. So I thought it would be nice if the president and his team just periodically would give them a shout out. And so I sent word over through our congressional liaison, who does a great job, and it went all the way to the president, which again, it always does. You know, working on another project and got a phone call, and it was the president saying, you know, so how much he appreciated that, and that he would agree totally that we needed to do a better job. And so that's really what was the result of all that. That is something that we need to remember. We've got all of these people, the food checkout people standing, you know, in the situation, everybody that comes in, they're in contact with. I think the greatest fear that Americans have is going to the grocery store and finding empty shelves. And that doesn't just happen in the sense of those shelves being, you know, with products on there. It takes a lot of work, and the distribution network is fairly fragile. So we're working hard to keep all of that going, so that's one thing that we don't have to worry during this troubling time.
You know, when you really look at it, though, isn't it just great to be American when you see so many people just pulling up from their bootstraps and doing whatever it takes to get done? I mean, from broadcasting to mail people to the grocery stores to the truck drivers to the nursing home. I mean, we could write a list of those people that are impacting America by helping make those changes.
No, you're exactly right. Just a lot of people, again, we tend now to remember our medical personnel, which are on the very front lines, but these other people are too. And so they're concerned about themselves. They're concerned about taking it home. Many of them, have family that might be in the high-risk group. But despite all that, you know, they're working through that. And as a result, we still have the cheapest, safest food supply of any place in the world. So we can be very, very grateful for that, and very thankful for all of those individuals that make that happen.
Now, the checks that are going to be sent out, and this is something that you really started, everyone on our program after last Friday talked about the scams. Even the Attorney General, Leslie Rutledge, brought up and saying that this is something that we've got to keep reminding Arkansans about, especially those with Social Security, because it's automatic for them. Explain what is going to happen for them for that check.
Well, for them, they're going to get the check in the mail with their Social Security check. Nobody's going to call them and try to, extract information like Social Security numbers, personal information. Those are people that are scam artists. And sadly, when you have situations like this involving particularly so much money in circulation, you're going to have a lot of unscrupulous people like this. So when in doubt, don't. If you're going to get things through the mail, you're not going to get it through a call. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. So let's be very, very careful about that. If you've got questions, you can call our office. You can call the rest of the congressional delegation office. You can call the Attorney General. You call your banker, whatever. But let's be very, very careful about giving out personal information to anyone that's trying to call you.
Well, thank you so much for you and your office for bringing that up, because that is something that really has took off, especially in our listening area. Another thing we got to talk about, which I think is so amazing. You guys are so on it. You're on the A game here. I've seen where you are working for the rural hospitals, which they are all talking about shortfalls. And explain a little bit where folks don't understand that this coronavirus, there's no money for the hospitals really in this.
Well, the problem is that our rural hospitals, we're really struggling to begin with. And when you think about it, it's so important to our communities. These are probably the best paying jobs in town. You lose your community hospital, and then it makes it very difficult to maintain your doctors. Pretty soon you lose your community. So they are vital. And what's happened is that because of the potential surge in the future, they've been asked to empty their hospital beds as much as they could, getting ready. All of the elective procedures. And most of medicine really is about elective procedures. There's not that much emergency things that can't be put off. So if you need a new knee or hip or any of those kind of things, all of those things have been put off. So as a result, those have all been idled, and they really are money makers for the hospitals, money makers for the doctors themselves. So right now they're struggling. I was on a call this morning with Sima Verde, the lady that's in charge of all this stuff, and she was very reassuring. They're going to put out $30 billion. That'll be a little bit of a help. It will go to all the hospitals. And then she told us that after that, the next big tranche of money that they put out really will go directly to community hospitals to try and shore them up. She understands how important it is. She understands the tremendous place that they occupy in our communities throughout America. And as a result, I hope that we're going to see some relief in the very near future. We're going to continue to press hard to make sure that happens.
When all of us are trying to stay home as much as possible, and you see the grocery stores and a lot of nurseries are being of trees and shrubs and all that. I mean, people are doing work outdoors. One thing we find out that even the president said, we're spending a lot of time, family time, which in some ways this is a good time, really, for many families to really kind of get back together and eating around the table and hearing their stories all day long. With my wife, she's probably ready for me to stay at work more time than I have to stay home.
Well, that's probably right. Or they say for better or worse, but not for lunch. So no, you're right. Those are good stories, and you just hear so many stories of people helping others too. That maybe somebody that shouldn't be getting out, an elderly couple, or an elderly person, or whoever. Might be in that category that is particularly susceptible to this, people stepping in and being helpful. I know that I'm not alone. I got a call from my pastor the other night or a text saying, that he was thinking about all of these different things that people are doing for us to encourage one another really are very, very helpful. So I'd encourage your listeners, if they're able to do that. Certainly this is for us to get through this, and we are going to get through it, and we're going to come out stronger at the end. But it is going to take all of us working and pulling together. That's really the key to success.
And one thing that got coming up in Greers Ferry, which is the epicenter, really, they've had 4 deaths in Cleburne County and Greers Ferry, where most of the positive cases came out of the Greers Ferry area in Cleburne County. And they're going to be having a special prayer. The ministerial fellowship there is going to have a special prayer this coming Easter Saturday. And we encourage folks just how they just coming together and praying for all aspects of our community, from churches to schools to the government, everyone. So this is just ways they can be a part of something and not go there. Just take time this Saturday and have a moment of silence for the community as well as the Arkansas and the nation.
No, I think that's wonderful, and certainly we need more prayer, and that's the answer to lots of things. And so I just appreciate the organizational effort to get that done. And I have lots of people telling me that they're praying for me. Thoughts and prayers really are very much appreciated by all of us. And we all need to be doing a lot of it and just trying to figure out how we can help one another, again, during this very difficult time.
What's some of the things that you see coming up in the weeks to come that we need to be aware of and can help with?
I'll tell you what's coming up legislatively is that this PPP program, the payroll protection program, is very, very popular, and I think is going to help a lot of businesses and preserve a lot of jobs. We've had a problem rolling it out, which we really expected, because it's kind of like the situation that we're in with unemployment. You have a situation in the state where one day you're processing or one week you're processing 1,000 claims, and then all of a sudden you have 30,000 applications, and that's how this is. Small Business Administration is a very small agency, don't have a lot of people. They and the banks are administering this along with the Treasury Department. And we did that rather than trying to set up a new program. If you tried to set up a new program, it'd probably take a year and a half to get the paperwork and all the stuff sorted out. So this is doing immediately. It's had some hiccups initially, but I think now a lot of those things have settled down. So if you are having problems with those loans, continue to talk to your bankers. And certainly anything we can do to help, we will be glad to do that. It is so popular that it looks like the money is about a third of it's used. It looks like it's going to run out. And so the next step that we'd like to do is replenish that so that any business that is in a situation where they need the money qualify. They should be able to step up to the plate and get it like everybody else. So I think that's the major piece of legislation that we've got coming up that hopefully we can act on very shortly.
And then another thing is talking about the Arkansas Farm Corps. That was a new thing. It just started this week, and that is amazing, thinking about those that are unemployed can help farmers. It's awesome.
Really is. Rick Crawford came up with this, who does a tremendous job as one of our congressmen, and we're very proud of him, very proud of his service. He was in the military, and so he really active in the farm community, does a great job representing them. And so he came up with the idea and called me and asked me what I thought, and I told him it was a great idea. So often we have great ideas, and then we don't act on them because it takes a lot of work sometimes. But Rick followed through and has been working with Farm Bureau, and I believe that they have a website now. And so this is taking our Guard, our Reserve, just all kinds of military personnel that are available, and seeing if they'd like to become part of the farm community. And so the Farm Bureau is trying to match their skills up. Right now, we're in desperate need of people participating in the farm community, lending a hand there, and then maybe perhaps finding a new career in that field. So it's a great thing, and I do applaud him for coming up with the idea and getting it implemented.
Well, we just encourage those to apply, and they can on Facebook. It's Arkansas Farm Court, so they just got to type in that with Facebook and I guess / So, well, Senator, they tell me that I always talk way too long with you, so I couldn't help it but start with the president. I felt like that was I'm talking to a celebrity here. I know somebody that knows the president directly. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you so much, Bob, and appreciate your show, and certainly if your listeners are having problems, be sure and reach out to us or anybody else in the congressional delegation, and beware of people that are trying to get these economic impact statements. Somebody calls you and starts talking about the stimulus payment. That's a red flag. Treasury, they're not calling it that. They're calling it economic impact payment. So just little things in itself. Be very wary. And, you can always, if it's legitimate, you can always come back, to the situation. You're going to get your check. You're going to get your money. But like I say, sadly, there are a bunch of people out there that would like to take it from you. So thank you again, Bob.
All right. We appreciate you taking time and talking with us. And we will talk to you next week as hopefully we see these numbers. I know it's some exciting news that the governor was talking about, that we are below the curve that they were predicting for Arkansas. So Arkansans are doing a good job with social distancing and washing hands and face masks now, and it's just been great for all of our community.
Well, we need good news, and that's great. So thank you very much.